I'm just waiting for a bunch of people to join us. Sorry that we're starting a couple minutes late, but we'll get started shortly. Thank you for joining me tonight. We have several, actually, quite a number of people who have registered for this and also will be just joining us live. I want to give people a few minutes to just be able to get on. Some people don't really know the Zoom application. If you have any questions, you could message me into the chat box so we don't have a lot of noise interference. Hello. I have everyone on mute, but I'm just waiting a few people. I'm waiting for a bunch of people, actually. There's close to 20 people signed up for this. So I'm going to just give people a chance to be able to download their Zoom. Some people are not familiar with the platform. So thank you for joining me and being patient. If you want, while you're there, it might be helpful to take some notes. And if you've registered for this or coming on directly, please message me and I will send you a recording of it. But please try to take some notes and, I'll begin very shortly. Let's give this another couple minutes as people are rolling on. There's probably close to 20 people that are expected to join us tonight. Hi, Beth. And it was such a beautiful day out today. I'm sure people are just getting in or making dinner or getting situated. I see Lynn on. Finally, you got on. I have everybody on mute right now. And if you need to ask a question, please look for your chat little icon and send a message that way. Like I said, I have about 20 people signed up for this tonight. So I'm not sure when everybody's gonna roll on, but I'll start in about a minute. And if you could pull out a note pen or a pencil and paper, just take some notes so that you can remember things. And we'll get started shortly. Hey, Lynn, there you are. I have everybody on mute because I don't want interference because I'm recording this, okay? But if you have a message you would like to send, please speak into, type it into the chat box. Okay. So I think people are just rolling on. People are slowly rolling on. So I'm going to get started now, and then people can join us as they are ready. So I see some new faces, which tells me, and tells me that my senses were correct in that and on point, that people really need to hear this message tonight in the light of everything that's going on around us. And there's a lot of nervousness, there's a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of unknowns. And I really felt called as a health coach to be able to get this message out. My mission as a health coach is really to work with people one-on-one and groups to encourage people to really take control over their lives through the food that they eat, the practices that they encourage on a daily basis, the habits that they have. Today I want to talk about, giving you some tools um, to um, to get through this time. And it's really my goal tonight is to offer words of encouragement and some guidance, and to help you see things maybe differently, to reframe, to give you a different lens around what's going on. There's so many unknowns, and there's so much uncertainty that people, when they don't have that certainty, it creates a lot of anxiety. So there's some of the tools that I'm going to help you with tonight are, I'm going to show you a breathing practice. I'm going to give you some nutrition and dietary tips to keep your natural defenses up. And I'm going to also give you some ideas around mindfulness, some tools that might be able to help reframe and give you a different lens around what's going on. So my name is Tina Hong. I'm a certified executive health coach. And what that means is basically I coach people one-on-one in changing their dietary habits and their lifestyle habits to really live a healthier and happier life. I work with all kinds of people, ranging from looking to lose weight, to get off medications, and to really change their habits long term. And the reason why I got into this 10 years ago was my dad had cancer for 10 years, and I felt really I really was impassioned by going into Sloan Kettering year after year over a 10-year period, and seeing people suffer. And I was really impassioned, and I said to myself, I feel like people don't have the right information. And so I'm passionate about giving people the right information, giving people tools to be able to really change their lives and to take control over their health. Because certainly this healthcare system isn't completely right. It's not, it's there for emergency care. It's not necessarily there to heal you. And our bodies are an amazing mechanism for healing and homeostasis. And we have the ability to take care of a lot of issues that come up over time as we continue to age, as we continue to defend ourselves from our toxic environments and so forth. So again, this is words of encouragement and some guidance for you guys. I'm going to go over breathing practice, some nutrition, mindfulness. I'm expecting to go till about 8 o'clock, okay? Because I have so much that I want to give you. And if you want to take notes, please feel free to do that. People who registered, I will be sending out a recording. So I understand your anxiety. I feel the same way. This anxiety is pervasive, and I want to give you some tools to get control over that. This is what's going on today is a wake-up call. It is a wake-up call, and it's serious. So COVID-19 is here at your doorstep. It is at your doorstep, and it's in your neighborhoods, it's in your environment. You should all be self-quarantining yourself for the safety of yourselves, your families, and thousands of people around you in your community. And this is, take a chance at this time, take this opportunity to really go inward. Our healthcare system fails to address so many underlying conditions. And it's frustrating to see that, 50% of the population has some kind of chronic illness and is on multiple medications. we're already fragile. The majority of the American public is fragile in terms of their health. And that's what worries me even more. But the human system is totally intelligent. And our bodies are made and created to naturally get back to homeostasis and get back to norm and to heal itself and to recover. And if we give it the right tools, we have the ability to do this. It's chemical, it's biochemical, it's physiological, it's emotional, and it's psychological, all of those things. It's not just about taking a pill and getting a quick fix. I'm not going to get into the whole situation with COVID-19 tonight too deeply, but we really have a sense of urgency right now. And for those of you who haven't been practicing good health practices for a long time, you are in a more fragile state than others. And that's really serious. For those of you who have been keeping up with your nutrition, with exercise, with movement and positive thoughts, and have tried to do those things, you have a very likelihood chance of being able to defend any kind of viruses that, and with very light and minimal symptoms. So, like I said, the human system is totally intelligent, and you know, how we respond to these threats in panic and fear has a biological, biochemical, and emotional response. And when we have fear, it disconnects us and it isolates us. And what happens when our fight or flight gets into alert mode, which is a natural survival instinct, stress becomes a major player, and it actually changes our DNA. It actually changes our biochemical and physiological response. It affects our heart rate, it affects blood flow, it affects our digestion, it affects us on every level of our 10 systems in our body, in our nervous system. So it's very complex. I just want to say that, you know, the fear of the unknown is understandable. And life is really fragile, man. I saw people die right in front of my eyes in a split second. As fast as a candle flickering, it can happen. And so I've made it a mission to tell people in the world that we want to prevent that from happening, that we want to, if we can make better choices on a day-to-day and a minute-by-minute basis to manage that outcome as best as possible, we should do it. So, and I really believe that, you know, US Americans have just become too comfortable and complacent. We have so many choices and so many conveniences. And many of us have seen very little suffering as a first world nation. Look at Nelson Mandela. He survived 27 years in prison. And what were the outcomes? He was separated from his family and loved ones and experienced excruciating torture and pain and suffering. But he was able to make an influence in this world. So he saw the world differently outside of his pain and suffering. And I hope tonight that you can kind of take a different framework around what's happening around us right now. All that we do in life today and the choices that you make impacts not only your life, but it impacts everyone around us. We're all interconnected and interdependent. So, We know that studies show that positive emotions like happiness and comfort and pleasure allows us to consider a larger set of options. It creates creativity. It creates options. It helps us make better decisions. So taking positive emotions enables our intelligence system to be able to create more options. And the opposite is true. When you are in the mode of unpleasant emotions, which is really difficult to get around and navigate, especially what's going on where there's fear and panic around us, people fighting for toilet paper and, you know, food at the grocery store. Feelings of anger and stress, resentment and fear overwhelms our rational minds, and it impacts the way we make decisions. So there is only one person who's in control of your mind, and that's you. That's me. That's us. And I'm not saying that just having positive thoughts is going to change what's happening around us. What's happening around us is completely out of our control. And for those of you who are absolute perfectionists, and I know there's probably some of you in the audience who are, you can't control this. You don't have control. So this is a time for you to really go inward. Instead of reaching out, I want you to consider going inward and taking this time to really search deep. How often do we actually take a pause in life and see what's really going on? How often are we actually checking in with ourselves? When I coach people around their diet, and I work with busy professionals, moms, busy professionals shuttling in and out of the city, business owners, leaders in their business that have a lot of responsibility. I understand the overwhelming amount of stress to manage your family, manage your finances, manage your future. It's a lot. But basically, what I find is, in my experience, that most people are going about their business on a day-to-day basis completely unconscious. Completely unconscious. They don't even know what they're shoveling down their throats in terms of what they're eating. They don't know how they're feeling. They can't even articulate what's going on because they don't take the pause to actually, take an inventory. So again, studies show that positive emotions really gives us a larger set of options. It helps us to think faster, make smarter decisions. When we're able to control our mind in the midst of chaos, in the midst of frenetic energy around us, and we can actually get into the discipline and practice of getting tuned in, we are much more in control to make better decisions. When we allow the frenzy of the world around us to just take us and we're reactive, then we are not making smart or rational decisions. I hope everybody can hear me okay. I'm assuming everybody can. Can you nod your head if you can? Okay, good. So, like I said, we have become way too comfortable and complacent. We haven't experienced suffering. Often I say to people who are trying to lose weight and who work with me to get off their blood pressure medications that they've been on for 20 years, often I say, get comfortable with feeling uncomfortable. We are way too complacent. Everything is too easy for us right now, has been. And such an overwhelming situation as this just completely throws us off our center. And the only way to really manage the panic and fear that's going on around us is to control our minds. And it's not going to change things on a global scale in terms of our healthcare system, our government, and how this whole situation is unraveling before our eyes. But you can control what's going on with you. You can control what's on your table, what's on your plate. And I'm not just talking your dinner plate, I'm talking about your life plate. So this situation is very serious. And like I said in the beginning, 50% of the American population is on more than one pharmaceutical medication or antidepressants or cholesterol medication or blood pressure medication. Those people who already, or diabetes, who has type 2 diabetes, type 1 diabetes, those people are already in a situation where their life, it's fragile. Their health is very fragile. And some of you might be those people. And that's why you have to quarantine yourself right now. You have to think of the safety of yourselves and others in your community. So follow the orders of what they're saying. It's not to be taken lightly. You know, take this time to really go inward. So I want to take you through something to consider. I just want everybody to just breathe. Take a deep breath through your nose in slowly. And exhale. And I want you to take close your eyes even. And I don't know if some of you practice yoga or not, but when you close your eyes, you go inward. You kind of roll your eyes to the center of your, between your eyes, the third eye. It's about practicing this little exercise is about being present and practice being present. So just take a few breaths. You know, everybody's so anxious right now. Hopefully you guys got out and into the sun and all of that. But I want you to just take a few breaths. I want you to just exhale, eliminate that anxiety, empty your belly of nervousness. Don't breathe through your breathe through your nose, in through your nose slowly. And out through your nose slowly. When you breathe in through your mouth, you're actually exciting your cortisol hormones. Breathe in through your nose all the way and out through your mouth through your nose. So inhaling through your nose. The nostril breathing accesses your parasympathetic nervous system, which is basically controlled by your mind. And it actually shifts your anxiety. It can actually change your whole physiological response. When we are in fight or flight mode and we are under stress, we have a physiological change. We begin to perspire, our temperature goes up, our immune system gets weaker, our brain is unable to process. So just taking a breathing practice is really important. There's, I don't know if you're familiar with Ayurvedic breathing, but your ring finger and your thumb And basically, it's alternate nostril breathing. And basically, put your thumb closing off one nostril and breathing in through the other nostril. And then closing off your other nostril and exhaling through your other nostril. I want you to try doing this, switching on and off. I want you to go through 5, 6 times of this. Close your eyes. Bring your eyes to your third eye. When you close your eyes, roll your eyes to the middle between your eyes and do that. If you're uncomfortable, you're not used to this kind of activity, get comfortable with feeling a little uncomfortable and be a little strange for a minute and see if you have a shift. Just try it. And it's gentle breathing. It's not anxious breathing. It's slow breathing. It's a gentle breath. So nostril breathing in through your one nose and exhaling through your other nose. I want you to fill your belly when you're inhaling through your nose. Fill your belly into your chest. Lift your diaphragm. Hold your breath for a second and then exhale through the other nostril. And I want you to try to do this 5 or 6 times. If you're not comfortable with the both-handed thing, just close one nostril and just use one nostril. What this does is, and I want you to practice this. This is a really important. The other day, I was driving through New York City and I got pulled over by a Bronx cop because I accidentally missed the George Washington Bridge and I was freaking out. And I was kind of lost. I didn't know where the entrance was. And afterwards, I just sat in my car and did this for like 5 minutes, and it completely changed my whole physiological response. It calmed me down. So this practice, this gentle breath, truly enables you to access your parasympathetic nervous system. We find ways to soothe ourselves in so many different destructive ways. It pisses me off that that people make choices that are destructive, and we don't even realize what it's actually doing. Whether it's excessive drinking of alcohol, excessive junk food eating, excessive amounts of sugar. Excessive amounts of sugar, as basic as it may sound, that everybody knows, actually is putting propane on the fire, especially if you're that 50% who have a fragile system. So I want you to think about what you do have control over and what you don't have control over around you. And this is really a chance to, and maybe as you're writing your notes, think about taking inventory over your life, or over what you do have control over. You don't have control over the markets. You don't have control over this illness, that's disease that's going across the country. You don't have control over how it's even going to be handled. But what do you have control over? What can you do to help yourself and your families? So this breathing technique, I want you to, we don't have, I mean, even if as you're listening, you could try, did you notice a shift? You can nod your head yes or no. Did you notice a shift after you finished the breathing exercise? Did you notice that your shoulders kind of relaxed a little bit? You got a little more clear. So that nostril breathing is really important. It's a really good tool. As you're practicing that soothing tool, your nostril breathing to calm your nervous system, I want you to practice positive thoughts while you're doing that. I want you to focus on creation, focus on positive change, focus on those new commitments and those new beginnings. This is a reset and a wake-up call that we're experiencing right now. The things that we hold on to and feel that is our identity, completely in light of everything that may go away, doesn't matter. We only have our health, we have our mind, and we have our presence. We have now. And you have full control over that. And believe it or not, when you're able to control your stress and anxiety, there's a physiological change that happens. And this is so important to you guys, Stress is a killer, it really is. It completely changes your system and your ability to fight off disease. It completely changes your ability to defend very basic things like a common cold or a flu. It takes you longer to recover. So the stress, getting control over your stress, however you need to manage it, through meditation, through just being quiet. Turn off the news. Turn off the television. Get unplugged. Hopefully you guys got outside today and, got some fresh air and oxygen in your brains. The constant repetition of news media is anxiety causing, especially now. I know it's going to be there. The updates are going to be there. But your hypervigilance is just going to truly spike your cortisol hormones, and it will affect you to be able to defend or not defend disease. In terms of eating, you guys decide what goes into your body, and just like this breathing exercise, just creates a shift. When you actually change the way you eat, it creates a shift in your body. It utilizes the food, your food that you're eating as data to either defend, to be a natural defender, or to be naturally inflamed. And I want you to think about what and how you eat. Slowing it down. Take this opportunity to be mindful about how you're eating. not gobbling up stuff. Your digestion starts in your mouth. And self-care is in the foods that you eat and how you eat. And I often say to my clients, eating is a meditation. So as you take each bite, chew your food completely. So many people that don't. So many people don't even realize what they're eating. They have no idea. And I want you to resist convenience. This is not a time of convenience right now. This is a time of kind of going back into traditional days where America is not going to run out of food. People are stocking up, but it's about going back to the way things were, going back to really simplicity. And resisting convenience is one way. Convenience is at the door right now. I mean, yes, you can order in. That's a safe way to get food if you don't cook. My suggestion is, with regards to diet, while you're stocking up, have plentiful proteins, have the frozen vegetables. These are foods that actually build your defense system naturally. So convenience foods are fast and convenient and cheap. Stop reaching for the fake foods that give you no nutritional value. Sugar has no nutritional value at all. It doesn't give you the tools you need to have a strong natural defense system. You need foods that restore and heal and help you eliminate and help you regenerate healthy cells. Our bodies are constantly rebuilding and eliminating, rebuilding, eliminating, rebuilding, and eliminating. And the more we incorporate, the more we allow the entry of no nutritional value foods, fake foods, the more we weaken our system and our ability to defend ourselves health-wise. So stock up your freezer, not your pantry. Frozen meats, chicken, fish, vegetables, plant matter, eggs. Save money on your coffee during this time. Driving to Starbucks and getting frappuccinos that are loaded with sugar. That is just putting propane on the fire. You can save a lot of money, $3-4 a day. Live in simplicity, brew your own coffees and teas. Also stock up on herbal teas. Herbs are medicine. It actually can calm you or excite you. The caffeine in some teas and coffees amp up your cortisol. So if you are drinking more than 2 cups a day and you're already on stress, you're making your situation more fragile. So take this time to have less coffee, less caffeine. Take this time to drink more water and be more mindful of it. Some teas that are helpful are like kava teas or green tea, chamomile teas, turmeric, licorice teas, which are soothing to your digestive system. Cinnamon. Cinnamon is very good for people who have type 2 diabetes, who have blood sugar imbalances. You can even get echinacea teas. Echinacea is a root that actually boosts your immune system, turns on your natural defenders. Rooibos tea. Rooibos red tea basically allows you to balance your blood sugar. So it doesn't make sense to have all these herbs and nice teas if you're incorporating non-nutritional food and junk food in your pantry and stocking up on that stuff. This is really important. You have to be able to give yourself the tools to restore and heal and defend itself. And fake foods is not going to help you do that. And you know, if you need more specific guidance, I'd be happy to do that. Also, think about bone broths, chicken broths, the collagen in broths, and the minerals and the marrow from bones actually boosts your T cells, which are your white blood cells that defend and protect you. So making soups and broths while you're at home are really important. Go back to traditional times, go back to traditional foods, whole foods. During this time to defend ourselves, again, these are things that you do have control over, what's in your kitchen and how you feed your body. Taking supplements are also important. You know, your multivitamins, taking extra A and D3. D3 basically triggers over 200 chemical processes in your body and signals. So it is a really an immune defender to be able to supplement with D3. You should be supplementing from 5,000 individual units to up to 10,000 individual units. If you're not eating green leafy vegetables right now, you should be having magnesium. And magnesium relaxes your muscles. It relaxes your blood vessels. So if you are pumping blood and high blood pressure on a day-to-day basis and drowning yourself with coffee and adrenaline about all the responsibilities and stress you have, think about taking some magnesium at night. It'll help you actually sleep better. Some other tips to really get your natural defenses up and be able to control what's going on around you. Think of what are you able to control? What are you able to control? Get into nature. While you are home, get outside. Do not go into crowded, enclosed environments, but get outside. Just taking a walk where there's trees and nature and fresh air and oxygen actually lowers your blood pressure. It changes your physiology. And just because you're stuck indoors doesn't mean you should be not exercising. You want to maintain your muscle mass with weights or resistance exercise. And most people who are age 40 and over are on the decline of losing muscle mass and bone density. This is not just right now in the midst of chaos. This is a long-term plan. And we don't know if this is going to be 2 weeks or a month or a couple months until this passes. And it will pass. This is temporary. This is not forever. But it's kind of like hunkering down while you're expecting a hurricane to blow over and getting inward and saying, here's what I have control over. So exercise, keep up your exercise. These are natural defense mechanisms you do have control over and you have the ability to maintain, especially if you're not in an office. And if you are in an office, get outside and do some resistance exercises, do some weighted training. Also sleep. Sleep is so important. If you're anxiety ridden and you're having difficulty sleeping, take magnesium at night. Most people, I would say 99% of people are magnesium deficient because you're not eating 7 to 8 servings of green leafy vegetables a day. Take 200, 400 milligrams of magnesium every night. And believe it or not, you may actually have a really deep sleep. Most people do. Most people. So sleep is so critical right now. If you're so troubled over what's going on around you and you're so nervous about it, I want you to practice those breathing exercises at night. And I want you to have a wind down routine at night. Turn the television off, turn the news off. You got to give it a break. This hypervigilance is just keeping your cortisol up high at a very high level, and it's weakening your system. It's making you more fragile. So sleep is essential because sleep is when we reboot. We're resetting our entire body. We're eliminating what we don't need in terms of all the damaged cells that happen during the day, and we're rebuilding new healthy cells when we're in sleep mode. So if you feel overwhelmed and stressed, I really encourage you to figure out ways to have a better sleep, to have 7 to 8 hours of sleep. If you can't absolutely get more than 6 hours of sleep, get a nap in. Even a 20-minute nap, 30-minute nap can help you tremendously because you need to give your body a chance to reset. If you don't give your body a chance to reset, you're just making yourself more vulnerable. It's so important. And try not to fall asleep with television on because your brain is still operating on high gear to process that information. Turn it off. Listen to silence. How often do people actually listen to their breath in silence? And yes, maybe you have family around and so forth, but in your alone time, coming out of the shower, in your shower, listen to yourself. Listen to your breath. Take that pause, that few minutes. Check in, because often we don't check in. And most likely, especially during the day, your heart is freaking racing, man. You're racing. Your thoughts are racing and your heart is racing. Your body is tense, and it's basically this fear of the unknown. And what happens is our survival instincts come up, and basically our body is preparing itself for a fight, for protection and survival. This is our natural instinct. And the only way to intercept that is start getting in tune, is really start getting in tune with ourselves. The hypervigilance. Notice when you start worrying excessively. Notice when you feel out of control. But you're not going to notice if you don't take a minute to actually check in. Practicing presence is really essential, especially now. Give yourself this time to really check in with yourself. Listen to your breath. Get used to being uncomfortable with silence. You'd be surprised the kinds of thoughts that come about. Maybe some of those thoughts could be negative. A lot of negative recordings in your mind. But basically, if you are overwhelmed by negative thoughts in your mind, I want you to counter those thoughts with that breathing exercise. Counter those thoughts about change, about new beginnings, about things you do have control over, which is very little except yourself. What you eat, how you perform during the day. Outside of that universe, we really have very little control. And I know what hypervigilance is like. I had to go through years of therapy because my dad was on the brink of dying, like every minute. And I was his primary, secondary caretaker. He had cancer, he had terminal cancer, and exceeded all kinds of statistics at Sloan Kettering. I was at Sloan Kettering so often that they thought I was a part of the 7th floor neurology staff because I was hovering. I was hypervigilant. I was so afraid. I wanted to take control. I wanted to figure out what could be done. And you know what? Definitely, if your family members end up in the hospital, don't ever leave them alone. Don't ever leave them alone overnight, especially if they're in a vulnerable state. Just don't do it. I don't care how uncomfortable you are. If you care about that person who's in the hospital, just stay because they need you. And I've seen so many families with their family members and loved ones in hospitals that didn't have anybody. They didn't have anybody. And this is the time right now to take courage and take a lead. A lot of you are leaders in your own world. Take a lead and take a stance for yourself in terms of what you are able to control, and show others that you have the ability to help. Maybe you're not that 50% vulnerable or fragile state. We're all interconnected and interdependent. This is a time to really take courage and leadership and compassion on one another. Everybody else around us is just as afraid as you are or I am about what is unknown. Everybody else. Everybody. So I want you to take courage and really step up in your own families, in your own communities, in your own businesses. I challenge you to take care of those feeling isolated and helpless. Because if you are able to, that is something you are able to control. So practicing controlling our thoughts is tremendous work, and it's a discipline. And guess what? It doesn't come easily, but it comes with practice and discipline. It takes work. And it's our natural instinct in the face of threats to demonstrate fear and panic. And the only way to control that is to get into your mind and get centered and get deeply rooted and really reflect that there is a greater purpose in the situation here, that there is a beginning. Miracles do happen. Medical miracles do happen, believe it or not. Some miracles happen that doctors don't have an answer to. Our healthcare system doesn't have answers for us. They're not going to heal you. You have to heal yourself. And the only way to heal yourself is to allow your body, your natural ability, physical ability, emotional ability to take control over your mind, take control over what you're eating, and taking control of your thoughts. So I want you to think about that. Focus on joy and laughter this time. You know, Everybody's running around grim right now and so scared and freaked out. Again, I really encourage you guys to take the lead and step up in your families and your friendships and your communities. This is the time to shine and creating new beginnings. So it's not doom. This is just think of this time as a temporary reset. And you don't have control over how this disease is going to take over around us. We have control over what we can control, and that is how we eat, how we nourish ourselves, how we soothe ourselves. And stop reaching for things that don't actually give us the natural defense mechanism that we actually need and deserve, and enables our body to get back to homeostasis. When we're in stress, we're whacked out. We're out of homeostasis. That affects our hormones, affects our blood sugar, affects our blood pressure, everything physiologically. So this is incredibly important to master your thoughts and get centered and rooted at this time. In your families, hopefully there's joy and laughter. Watch movies, consume entertainment that is joy and laughter and not fear and doom. Consume music that is not angry but peaceful. Consume silence so you can hear your thoughts. I really would encourage you to really go inward at this time. Take this chance to really practice the discipline over your mind. I guess that's the key messages that I wanted to get out. Please don't react primitively. Give your body a chance to respond intelligently. Our human system is intelligent, and we need to give it the tools that we need to actually respond and defend itself naturally. No injection, no vaccine. There's nothing. Right now, what you have control over is you and how you manage what's going on. So hunker down, get organized, think about your future, think about what you already have, think about your future as something you already have. Because when we think about our future in a sense that we already have it, it's coming to us. It is. Our life is fragile. It's absolutely fragile. And I encourage you guys to really take this seriously and tell your friends and your family members that it's no joke to be running around in closed environments and parties. They're shutting down bars. They're shutting down restaurants. This is serious. So I hope this was helpful to you. I want to read you something that I found. When the crowded Vietnamese refugee boats met with storms or pirates, if everyone panicked, all would be lost. But even if one person on the boat remained calm and centered, it was enough. It showed the way for everyone to survive. And that was a Vietnamese philosopher. But I want you to think of it in Buddhist traditions. My life is uncomfortable only when I am not capable of controlling my mind. My life is uncomfortable when I am not able to control my mind. So please consider these thoughts. I am planning to do an immune system, building a stronger immune system course over the next 4 weeks. And I include science and practical strategies around, and understanding, education about understanding our bodies and how we actually heal as a self-healing mechanism, and how we can actually use protective strategies to strengthen our immune system, and considering health supportive modalities that actually don't require medical intervention. So this is something that's available. I had sent it out to your emails. The URL to register is tinyurl.com/immune2020. So if you're interested in joining me, these are going to be 4 45-minute online Zoom sessions starting this Wednesday. And if you have any questions about it, let me know. But you'll get recordings of each session, facts for each session, an immune health supplement list, an herbs list. Everybody is, you're able to schedule a 30-minute personalized nutrition session with me, and have access to a private Facebook page. I just want you guys to have the tools and education that you need. I'm an educator, and I'm truly, truly passionate about giving everyone the tools that they need to be empowered to do the right things for themselves. So it's 8 o'clock, 8:03 right now, and I don't want to take up all your night, but I just pray and send you positive thoughts, send you joy in your hearts, that you'll be able to control the anxiety and the stress by diligently getting control over your mind. And I hope this was helpful. And go share this with your families. And if you have any questions, please let me know. You can email me or message me on Facebook. And if there's any questions, I'll take any questions, or if you need to jump off, that's fine too. So are there any questions for me? Mira? Hold on, Mira, I'm gonna unmute you. Hey, Mira.
Hey, so I have a question about the diet thing. And my question is, I have a lot of lentils and beans and non-paleo things in my cupboard that I may need to resort to.
Yeah.
Is it better to combine them with meat, or to eat them like the meat first?
Yeah. Good question. So, and sorry I didn't get a chance to respond to you earlier.
That's okay. I hope you don't mind me asking here.
Oh, that's totally fine. So really the kind of nutrition that you have, I mean, this is more longer term, more bigger impact than right now where we are today. We are not in a food desert, although people are stocking up and taking control over foods, right, over the grocery stores. So you still have the ability, stores are restocking foods, and you have the ability to get fresh meats and fish and all of that is completely safe.
Well, actually today it wasn't still available, but maybe it will be in the next couple of days. But I know
Okay.
Going out anyone. I mean, I know we have to go to the grocery store, but it's a tough balance.
Okay. So if you're trying to lose weight, I recommend a low carbohydrate diet. Beans and lentils are higher carbohydrates. It is plant-based proteins, which is still, a protein. However, if you're trying to lose weight, it's not going to help you. But basically, you can combine that if necessary, but in small portions if your goal is to lose weight or get some extra pounds off. In terms of energy, also, When you go back to carbohydrates and beans and lentils and things like that in your diet, they're difficult to digest. And, you know, if you think of traditional foods, you want to really bite for bite, really be able to have as much nutrition, as much of the amino acids, fatty amino acids as possible to give you the tools to replenish your hormones, to replenish your defense mechanisms as naturally as possible. Do beans not do that? Not as well as you know, animal and seed proteins. But certainly it doesn't mean that you shouldn't. It's just about the portions. It's about the combination. So if you're trying to lose fat, you're trying to get weight down and inflammation down, it's better not to have beans and lentils. Maybe a little bit, but not as your primary meal.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yeah. Are you still doing the broth?
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I offer, I make the bone broth, and I encourage everybody to make bone broth. It has a lot of minerals that are deficient in our normal everyday diet, in a standard American diet. It just doesn't show up in the foods that you normally eat in terms of hamburgers and pizzas. And most people are nutritionally deficient in their micronutrients, which often nutritionists don't even really get into. Or, the micronutrients are really essential in terms of replenishing our hormones. It's not just about the macros, it's about those micronutrients. And in foods like plant-based foods, some, dark leafy green vegetables and berries and seeds um, and land and sea proteins, you're able to extract as much nutrition for your body to interpret to build your natural defense mechanism.
So are you a fan of algae?
Yeah, algae and chlorella and, wakame, any kind of sea plants are mineral rich with magnesium that the standard American diet just doesn't have. So incorporating that into your foods actually helps replenish, helps rebuild your cells. Was that helpful?
Yeah. And I've actually started purchasing some algae supplements.
Okay.
I'm gonna try them, but
yeah, try chlorella too.
It's they're called energy bits. Have you heard of these? Energy bits. They're chlorella, and they also have spirulina, and I think this is a combination. So
nice. Okay.
Probably.
All right, cool.
I haven't tried them yet, but.
Okay. Anything else? Any other questions that you guys have? I'm so excited that you were able to join me. Thank you so much. Thank you for letting me get the message out. I want to do more of these because I really feel passionate that people just don't have the right information. And it's so important that that we are doing the right things right now because we don't have a lot of control over our external circumstances at this point. Okay, well, I think if there's no other questions, I'll let you guys get to your winding down routine Sunday night and starting the new week, brand new. Again, leadership, go in and take charge of what you can control and practice in your mind what you do have control over in the world around us. And I encourage you to be compassionate to those people around you because we're all in this together. And that is something you do have control over. So I hope this was helpful. And I wish you all the best. Stay quarantined, stay with your family, stay outdoors, go outside, commune with nature, and definitely practice the nose breathing, nostril breathing technique. And if you need more instruction around that, feel free to message me. I hope this was helpful. And thanks so much for joining me. I hope you guys will join my course online over the next few weeks. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you. Okay.